What's up, guys? Let's take a look at the markets and go over my watch list for next week. Okay, so looking at the markets, we're going to start with, actually, take that off real quick. And so here's what we're going to do. So let's take a look at first the indexes. We got to split this up a little bit. Do that later. Okay, first thing, VIX came down to sport, popped off these lows here at around 15 bucks. So we're seeing support consistently at the $15 mark. So that's a key point to pay attention to. And then once we get up into like that 2250 area, it seems we begin to reject and we can see reversals. So let's make sure that's drawn. Actually going to adjust this. There we go. And so VIX is popping off. Let's go through, let's look at this. So one thing is that I noticed is as we keep pushing up into new highs for SPY, um, we are not making new highs and or the markets are not making new highs. There's less and less stocks advancing. Now, so something with that, we're also put call is back below 7.0. With that, something we need to make sure that we understand is that when all the stocks are not making new highs, the advanced decline line is making lower highs as the market's making new highs. That's usually not a good sign. Now, you could literally just see this based on this right here. So if you take a look at these major six names, right? You'll see that we actually are trading in this basically all of them don't look good. Like they don't look bullish. Apple is the only one that looks pretty good, but you can see here um we had this low, then we put in a higher low. The weekly chart looks pretty solid. We reclaimed the 21, but Apple can't carry the market on its own. We pushed up on low volume here. We had some buyers step in after that earnings report, but as of right now, nothing too crazy, right? So then we go into this further and we take a look at, okay, um, NVIDIA weekly chart. This is just choppy mess. We go to the daily. You can see we had some strong selling pressure here. And you can see that we put in this high. And then I think this made actually a new high, right? So we can make that, delete that. Then we put in a lower high. Could this be a lower high? Now, something to notice, bearish engulfing here, bearish engulfing here, bearish engulfing here. So that's something to take note of because we were continuing to make lower highs and forming essentially this little downtrend here. So um, that's where we kind of have to be cautious. Definitely not something personally I would like to be long. Then we continue through. Microsoft looks the worst of them all. And you can see here we've got lower high, or we put in a high, lower high, lower high. Now this time, so previously, we put in this low, then we traded sideways. We had this pop up, and then we put in a lower low here, and now we've put in a lower low. And then we had a high volume selling candle, which took out all of the preceding buying candles. You can see that the volume outpaced all of them. So it was a simple push back up to the 21 EMA, and then we sold off from there. So that's the first thing or the next thing. Then we go look at Amazon. So this one was looking okay as of last week, and then it lost its 50. So that's a big warning sign there. So we broke the 50. Now we're trading down, and here's something to take note of. And we've discussed this before. Notice all these times back in. So when we came back down here, let's focus on this recent uptrend. So every time we came in between the zone right here of the 21 EMA and the 50, we bounced. 21 EMA and 50, we bounced. 21 EMA and 50, we bounced. Here, we didn't bounce and we failed really hard. So that's a big warning sign. So now this kind of opens the door to a trend change. So markets may be shifting and the trend may be shifting, or well, Amazon, should I say, is starting to shift. Okay. So that's a bearish sign as well. So none of these charts besides Apple looks good here. So all of them look like, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call this distribution just yet, like, but it is showing weakness in a trend change. Google, you can see here we had that nice move off of earnings or that news, and then tried to make a new high, gap down on earnings, and now we've just seen kind of an acceleration of shorts coming in. So you can see we had that high volume seller candle and then another high volume selling candle once again, which broke these lows here. And so you can see there was high selling pressure across the board here. And then also that 21 cross the 50 bearish sign. Tesla, same thing here. We're just continuing to, we put in a high, we put in a lower high, lower high, lower high, and then a lower high. So, well, potential lower high once we break these lows. So this one, don't necessarily want to be long that one either, right? There's no sign or indication of, hey, we should be long this name. We're just continuing to see like bearish signs across these major names, and these make up about 30% ish of the overall market. So can't be too bullish as of right now. So that's without even looking at the actual chart. Now, if we go look at ES, this is something that we had discussed prior. You can see we had talked about past few weeks. My thesis was we were going to push up and make a new high, which I believe 162, 166. So we did make a new high here. But notice we did that on a low volume move. And then we got the high volume here, which is indicating selling pressure on Friday. Okay. So now what does that tell me? Well, if you're a trend line guy, here's your, or gal, whatever, there's your trend line that we just broke. But more importantly, we have been defending the 50 over and over and over again. We did not, this was a close below, but just barely. And we reclaimed it the next day. So Monday should be interesting. Are we going to reclaim it or are we going to fail? Because if we do fail, we will likely see more downside pressure and a downside move. Okay. So that's that. That's something to take into account as well. Because, and so basically what I'm thinking is I think this, we have reached a pretty major top. Um, and that's just personal opinion. That we had talked about this in the video last week, how we have now shifted. If I can show you, let's see. Do I have them on here? See, bar color. Okay. So now what you're seeing is we had this shift from green trend bars to red or to gray. And so let me take this off too. Those are kind of obnoxious. So what we're seeing here though is a pattern of major trend shifts in the market when we get this. So here, when we started printing that, it took a while. These are weeks, mind you. Then we started this decline. Then we flipped here and this started the advance. And then we kind of traded sideways for a little bit. Then here we this is was that correction or bear market of 23, 22, 23, or bear market correction, whatever you want to call it. And then we had this shift into green. And then we had the trend up. Now we're here again. And this is actually pinpointed the last one, two, three, four. Well, we can't count that one. Last three major market shifts. Okay. There's four and there's five. And then and there's six. Okay. So the last six-ish major shifts in trend have come from this. So what will we look for? Well, we'll probably be looking for if we can start to make lower highs, and then we'll go from there. But right now, I'm personally bearish, and I have been for a couple weeks. There's nothing really in a way to trade it, but this is very early signs of a or bearish take. And so what we have to do is find pockets of strength. So let's get into that. So China, those stocks are the ones that are going to be my primary focus going into next week. Okay. BABA, PDD, uh, JD, Futu, Billy, KWeb, TAL, LI. I was doing a little more research on this. Let me check this one real quick if I'm going to keep it on so I can give you accurate reading. Um, yeah, I can probably take it off. It's trying to shift into stage two. We've got these way stronger ones here. So when with moves like this, how do you get aboard? Well, really the only way to do so is if you one caught this consolidation or you're just playing price level breaks on high volume and trying to play the continuation. So here I would be looking for potential break of 145 and I wouldn't be in for long. I would just be looking for this to be a swing trade or not a swing trade, more of a day trade or very short-term swing. So that's one I'd be paying attention to there. Baba, PDD, just it's the theme right now. It's where stocks are trading. So that's where we need to have our focus lie. So then we've got PDD, which this one looks pretty solid. Uh, we broke this consolidation high, and I think we had a high volume candle there. I think this one looks good for continuation. I'd like to see us put in a 30-minute squeeze, kind of like back here, where we're printing signals, and then we take it long. So that one looks pretty good. JD looks good as well. I think that this one is ready for a breakout in earnings. This is similar to Baba, but it is the second best, I guess. They're both e-commerce, and this is the second best behind Baba in terms of production and just the overall company. So this one looks pretty solid as well. Futu, I like this one. This one looks great. We have this key high right here that we originally rejected. So let's go ahead and look at this. So above 130 on volume seems like uh, a great opportunity to go long. Okay. So keep an eye on that. If we can get high volume above that, we've rejected it a couple times. If we can see high volume on the break of that level, then let's look to get long. Um, Billy, this one just had earnings. You can see we have this resistance level here. I think safe entry might be closer to 25. So if we break above 25 on some volume, then you can look to play this one long. We've got a couple other levels that we've been trading against. Oops. So we can go ahead and mark those there. Level's not that relevant. And we got to mark out this one as well. So we can keep an eye on there. So then from there, KWeb kind of just encapsulates all of this. So all of these stocks. So I'm definitely going to keep an eye on that one. And then this one here, I think this one has strong potential when it gets above 15. So I really like this setup for a move higher off of $15. It's been trading higher ever since its earnings report. So I am looking for, okay, can we get a buy signal here and trade this one long, or can we break 15 on some volume and I'll look to be a buyer. So this one looks good, just needs some volume in it, and then we'll go from there. So that's the Chinese stocks. That's going to be the primary focus going into next week, plain and simple. And then from another perspective, one that I'm paying attention to is UNG. This one, this is because natural gas, that this is completely a focus on natural gas. Now, we take a look at this. You can see we've had some nice buy signals in the past, but the main point I want to look at is we are moving into stage two, it seems. So you can see the last time we had uh, this kind of consolidation. And then, well, we started building higher. We had this consolidation and started building higher lows. That gave us a really strong move. And we're kind of trading at that similar spot. So I'm looking for like maybe on the next signal here, we can look to go long. We broke out here. You can see the moving average is starting to turn up. If you're in the mentorship, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This looks like it's moving into stage two. So any buybacks, any buy signals, will look to play this long. And there's not too much resistance until we get to here. And then right around here-ish. So I call it right there. So yeah, five. So there's that. Um, I think this looks good. It's not highly correlated with the S&P, and it's beginning a stage two advance. So I think it's worth keeping an eye on. VNet, this one's just been going crazy. So for this one, just look for well, take a look. 30-minute signals. Boom, 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 boom. And we've had pretty awesome advances every time of at least, say, yeah, at least 10% each time. So um, look for the next 30-minute signal and play it long until volume starts to come out of this thing. But we have huge volume coming in and continuing to come in. We had this big push up, we gapped up, held steady, and then this on Friday, we sold off a little bit and end of the day, pretty much close to flat, but the volume is significantly lower than uh, the other day, almost 35% lower. So that one looks good as long as the high volume continues to play. And you'll kind of, what you'll want to do is keep an eye on that one. RGTI is a similar example. You'll start to see when we get this push up, and then what will happen is volume will really start to dissipate. So you can see here, we had this high volume candle, and then from there, it basically just faded and we traded sideways, and then eventually had that sell off, and now we've been dead in the water since. And that's indicated, look at the low volume there. So for VNet, play this one as long as the volume continues to remain high. For if it gives 2 days of lower volume, then that's when you're probably going to want to avoid it. So here, SMCI, I don't think this one is done yet. I think that there's probably going to be more opportunities here. We broke out of the space. I think you can see based on the volume, we had nobody interested here. And then now we had this big buyer volume candle, big buyer volume candle, and now we can look for continuation in this name. Looks really strong. And we have had 2 days where the closes have been inside of this candle here. So what I'll be looking for is, okay, can we potentially break this high here? And then look for, can we hold, or can we get above 60? Because 60 seems to be the psychology. our psychological level here. So we got 60, and then for 65. There's a couple levels there. Easiest way to play it. Look for that next 30-minute squeeze. You can see high volume on this big push up, and it's been low volume ever since on this selling. So yeah, that was the last 30-minute squeeze, and we had a really nice push. So let's look for this one. Can we get another 30-minute and just take an entry and trade that one long? HSAI, this one had good volume coming in on Friday, some buy signals, strong looking chart. We don't have too much resistance up until about $21. And then from there, we don't really have any resistance and can head to a new high. So that one has big breakout potential. This one has started to have volume coming back into it, QBTS. So I'll be looking for, okay, can we get long this one as long as it sets up again and holds above the break of this base? LRN, that one, nothing to do there. This one has earnings. And then FNMA, Fannie Mae. So this has to do with interest rates. If so, you can see here we had this push up from $3 to almost 8, and then volume started to drop off. Volume only picked back up on this gap up. Now it dropped back off. We had this candle here. So I'm looking for, okay, can we get a continuation in this one? Can this continue to break out of this range that we're trading in? So from there, we'll look and see, okay, can this break out from there? But this is the main watch list. Major things I'm keeping an eye on. We could probably move that to secondary. SMCI, I'll keep that one up there. But here's my primary watch list. The main things I'm watching is pretty much all China stocks. So we're going to look to play the continuation of that and see what we can get out of it. So I hope this helps. So the main thing is you got to be cautious with the indexes. They're trading like trash right now. Does not look good. They're really choppy. You want to look for the spots where there's conviction. And right now, that's in the Chinese names. So I hope this helps. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you for the markets.